Yeah, I'm liking the headset. Hopefully I'm coming in more clear.
Yeah, yeah, it sounds really good. I can
So I
still
went.
hear your typing though.
Yeah, well, that's gonna be the thing that happens.
I thought it would muffle it a bit, but apparently not.
No, I think it's a Skype thing, not a headset thing.
Hmm.
So how is Baker?
Uh, Feeling worn ragged as usual, but
Yeah,
I'm doing okay, surviving over here. I'm
I think I went to.
trying to get our music going, but we can chat while I do that. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I think I went to bed at 7 o'clock this morning. So
Okay, music
so
is
I'm
going.
pretty worn out. And Doom says I sound good, so that's all. That's what matters. I passed the Doom test.
We've got a little distortion going on. I'm gonna try force quitting my browser and a couple things to just cut down on internet traffic, probably. See if that helps a little, because yeah, my computer's suddenly running really slow today.
Yeah, you're a little splotchy. So we're doing enemy families today.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Bats, gobbles,
Don't mind me,
spiders.
I'm just closing like 20 of the 30 programs I have open right now.
Sounds good.
I get to this point where I haven't restarted my computer in a few days and realize I have way more things open than I probably would ever need. Okay, I think we got that trimmed down now.
So I went and saw The Man from U.N.C.L.E. last night. I talked to Doom about it, so I'm sure he's like, "Why are we talking about this on the stream?"
I know nothing about it. At least I don't
It's
think.
it's based off an old 1960s Soviet Cold War era spy TV show. Ian Fleming helped design it.
Yeah, the uncle acronym or whatever seems familiar to me.
It's like United Network for something. They say it at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
It was pretty slick. I liked it.
Was it better than Kingsman?
I didn't see The Kingsman actually.
I'm not sure if I would recommend it or not. Actually, the first half was great, and then it just goes like completely off the deep end at the end. It's like a different director took over or something.
Yeah, that's what I heard. You're still really staticky.
I wonder if we need to start the Skype call over. Because you're a little staticky, but I'm not sure where it's coming from, basically.
Yeah, I'll restart the call.
Okay, I will keep going.
Okay. How's that?
Sounds good, but it's the distortion was only occurring occasionally for me, so it's hard to know. But I think we should.
Oh, well, yours was full on static, so
So it's better now.
yeah, it's better. So Doom elects for something different.
Different topic, different.
Different creature.
Okay.
The
Yeah, I mean, I did most of the ghosts, so I'm cool with moving on to something else.
The Jebra.
Oh no. Can we come up with a better name for them?
Yeah, we can come up with a better name for them.
We had talked about doing like a small one and a large, like a giant, like giraffe-sized one. So that could be
Right,
kinda
right.
Cool. I haven't.
I just
that old
like the
drawing, I should
reaction.
probably
Oh
pull that
no!
up, but
Just perfect reaction from you there, Baker.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I heard about the Kingsman. Like the end scene is like crazy, hectic, super weird fight scene and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. And it just, I mean, it gets like super B movie-ish. The first half is kind of like, I'm trying to think of like what to compare it to. I mean, there's like, kind of running on roofs and like some pretty good fight scenes that aren't. I mean, they're kind of like bullet time overdone a little bit, but that's you know, that's fine. Like, it's fun to watch. But then, yeah, just like like, you know, there are these scenes where he's just like running through corridors for 20 minutes getting shot at, and you're like, why isn't he dead yet? Because they basically just shot at him at point blank range and missed for the 20th time. Oh, I forgot I had drawn this little. I think this was, we were working on those the cultists, making them kind of look like, yeah, they had the candle wax dripping and everything. That was like a month or two ago. I almost forgot I did those because I lost this file apparently. But
yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I'm trying to draw everything at lower res now, so it goes quicker and the files aren't as large, and then I redraw them at higher res.
So Kickstarter updates seem to do pretty well.
Yeah, seemed like a lot of, like, I think some people had been zoning out and they started paying attention again this time for better or worse.
Yeah. And we're gonna roll out the elemental one in a couple weeks, or a week, I should say, at this point.
Yeah, since time gets away from us. Yeah, I'm shooting for the 15th or so.
Okay. You took like everything I wrote and made it 100 times better. I just want to say.
Well, there were definitely some things that I don't think I had ever really communicated, and actually a few things I thought of as I was adding bits and pieces.
Yeah, you did a good job.
So, and it's all like, I'm happy with the writing. I just wanted to finish some more of those visuals, the ones I was doing some work on those on the stream, but
yeah, apparently Twitch is having a hard time today.
Well, and I'm also like, Photoshop is running slowly too.
It's just a Twitch thing. I mean, at least I know for Doom has problems with Twitch, which is why I upload these. I was bad this weekend and it was a day late, but I will continue to try to keep the system streamlined.
Yeah.
Twitch just does not make it fun to highlight and export. It's a real pain.
Yeah. Well, I think they don't want you to keep them on their system forever, right? Because they've got to pay for the storage and all.
Yeah, they don't like too many highlighted things, which is why I really work to get everything on YouTube. But as long as you highlight it, they'll stay forever. But I think there's a limit. So.
Sorry, I'm trying to get my chair a little closer here. Oh, the armrests are hitting underneath the table here, because
no problem.
Otherwise I'm like too far away from my tablet.
Who else is in office today?
We've got a pretty full house. Kobe and Aaron are over there talking about some stuff, and then Vlad and Masha and a guy named Jeremy. A couple of them are working on, again, like another non-Delvers thing. It's actually they got a sort of like music video client.
Oh, cool.
So we've got a few people in office. We probably mentioned it before. We're basically kind of sharing office space with some designers and illustrators, and kind of all helping each other out as needed. So some people work on Dilbert Shop from time to time, and then work on other projects and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was trying to add some like bits of armor. I mean, I like this design pretty well overall. It's going to be hard to figure out what it looks like when it turns to face you, so maybe I will work on that view a little bit.
Doom is happy that Sheer got axed.
That what?
Sheer got axed.
The name. Yeah. Yeah, I guess did I talk to you guys about, well, I decided to call it Flux in the end. I know that's probably like out of left field, but I thought about it a lot more, and once I wrote the description I was like, yeah, I think this fits. Like there's no other element that really behaves like I'm kind of envisioning Flux behaving. Now it's like this transformative, like it's sort of a, like one element kind of transforming into power for another element. So it's not so much like Muddle's kind of a byproduct, and Flux is more of like a conduit of sorts.
Right. Doom says we all know it was a bad name. I liked Sheer. I'll always like Sheer.
I still like it, but I understand the reasons for you know, for it sounding weird. Like it just sounds right to my ears, but it didn't actually make very logical sense, I guess. And sometimes I'm okay with not making a lot of logical sense, but anyway. So I'm trying to give him these little kind of antler looking deals, like kind of and
right.
Just so everyone on the stream is aware, the idea is that these are, I mean, they're basically just kind of they're like the llamas or camels or something of this world. They're just sort of beasts of burden. There would probably be something that's also a horse or horse-like in the world, but these are a little bit, I mean, maybe I should just draw a horse. Not that I would have one in the game necessarily, but just to kind of get in my head what they would look like.
A Delver horse.
Yeah.
Isn't the Jebra intended to be a mini boss?
You know, I'm not sure. Like, there is I think we had talked about doing that giant, I just don't want to even say Jebra one more time.
But the name is so great.
No.
Oh yeah, no, we love it.
So the giant one, let's just figure out scale here too. Like, while this is useful. I mean, so he's basically like a tile and a half big. I'm thinking, you know, like that's kind of, I should probably make his head a little bigger in this view, but that's basically big enough for a Delver to, you know, look like they could ride on him comfortably. We're not, well, Kobe I think would love the idea of making the Delvers ride on them, but that's probably a level of complexity we shouldn't even discuss, because then we'll go down the rabbit trail of actually trying to do it. But anyway, so there would be the standard, you know, human rideable size, and then, you know, I was thinking something kind of like,
see, I always thought the idea for the name was Jeep and Zebra, a portmanteau.
I don't know that there was really any, like, it's probably inspired by Zebra, but I don't remember if there was another reason for it.
Doom says Jebradon for the big one and Jebra for the lower one.
That sounds familiar. Like, we probably called it that or talked about it. I mean, I feel like we had this discussion once on a live stream.
I think the name Jebra came from the live stream. I don't think you guys came up with it.
I thought it was my bad idea.
No, I'm pretty sure that was something born from the insanity of the live stream chat rooms of old. When Vacant Psalm and Quaddy and Doom and I were like the masters of the chat.
You mean like our forum chat, or?
No, I meant I mean, we all came from the forums, but yeah.
I just didn't know if you meant like live stream chat or.
Oh no, live stream chat.
Okay.
I meant live stream chat. Cause when you originally pulled up the character list that you had previously up for those who are watching now, you had already done the Jebra that's on the screen, the smaller one. We're like, what is that? And you're like, oh, that's like the pack horse. And we all sort of was like, well, what is it called? And you're like, we don't have a name for it. History in the making. This is the greatest. This is the real fun of following a game in its Kickstarter process. Coming up with awful, terrible names for enemies that are, I guess, maybe not enemies, but I don't know what you'd classify.
Yeah, all the creature. I mean, we should probably call it the creatures database instead of the enemies database. But we just, you know, since 99% of them are enemies, that's what it's been called.
Yeah, Doom says you guys called it the Jebradon.
Yeah, that sounds right to me. So I'd say that's fine. We'll go with that. I kind of like giving him these little bitty ears. So I'm thinking the big one has 2 sets of horns, or antlers, or whatever you want to call these things.
And those are supposed to be bone ridges on the back.
Yeah, Yeah, that's what I was thinking. What do you call the little horny things on a giraffe? Do those have a name?
I would imagine they're just horns.
But I mean, they look like they're, you know, they're covered in fuzz, which is would be kind of like deer antlers, I guess. I want this thing to look super muscular. Like
they're called ossicones.
Okay, never mind.
Or sorry, Ossicones. Ossicones. Is such a size such as the Jebradon actually an okay enemy size for Delver's Drop? Like, it's something that big going to be able to be in the game?
Yeah, I mean, it'll fit on the screen. I think he looked it up on the stream too, the ossicones or whatever. So
yeah, ossicones.
Yeah.
Bone, obviously, ossi comes from bone.
Oh, I see. That makes sense. So I guess like the question about can we have enemies this big, is that a technical thing or just a like thematic thing?
Is such a size as the Jebradon actually an okay enemy size for Delver's Drop? Because that's pretty awe-inspiring if you enter a room with such large creatures.
Yeah, I mean, well, right now the boss that we've shown off a few times is probably, the head is probably about that size.
Okay. It's hard to, I guess, see scale.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
this form.
I would say a screen is probably somewhere around this size ish, if you can see that on the stream. That's a pretty good approximation. I mean, it was somewhere between like a 10 by 15 of grid squares, but we've had dynamic zoom. I mean, I guess it's still technically there. It just isn't hooked up right now, but you know, we'll be able to zoom out and. Well, I mean, but we aren't using it in rooms, right?
No, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's not nearly as before,
Okay, I didn't know that we had it like dynamically in right now at all.
yeah.
Okay, Kobe says I am wrong, and we do still have dynamic zoom. I guess it's just very subtle.
Okay.
The idea is to eventually like script it more to the room size, so it like zooms in on small rooms and zooms out on big rooms, depending on where you're at in the room and that sort of thing.
Makes sense. I wish you guys would show off the boss again for people.
Yeah, we probably should soon. I mean, well, I don't want to show off too much. Like the first boss, we will probably show off a lot in trailers and stuff like that. But the other ones, I want to really be a surprise. So I'm probably, as much as I would love to work on them during a stream, I will probably have to wait and work on them off stream.
Yeah, Doom said that it is a technical question. Will this be in the game? Will this be in the game?
I mean, it can. We should be able to push that many, you know, that big of a sprite. Like it's not gonna have that many moving pieces. Probably just for simplicity, but yeah, it's I'm definitely planning on having several enemies this size.
Right. I would imagine not as typical enemies.
Yeah. I mean, there might be some. Well, we had that kind of big-ish golem in the way back, the original trailer. I'm realizing it looks a bit like the Spirit of the Forest and Princess Mononoke kinda, which I'm okay with.
Right. Anything based off Studio Ghibli is probably a good direction, right?
Yeah, I'm generally a pretty big fan of all that stuff.
I'm a big fan of Studio Ghibli, so.
I'm thinking about giving him kind of like big floppy ears.
Hey, Koto Vios, how's it going? How are you doing today? And if we haven't said this already, this is a development stream for Pixelscopic who are making Delver's Drop, and you can pre-order it at delversdrop.com/buy. And we have our forums, which are not particularly active, but there's a lot of good information on there, and they could be active if you want to get yourself involved.
And yeah, for anyone coming online now, we're just working on some enemies for the game. These are the sort of pack animals of the world, which to my chagrin are called Jebra.
Jebradon.
Well, this one specifically, yes.
That was my question. Well, glad to have answered it. Why is the chest scaly?
I was thinking about these kind of armadillo-like scales, so not reptilian shiny scales, but yeah, kind of like almost like
Plates?
fingernail plates. Yeah, like I don't know what you'd call that. I mean, it's kind of like bone, but
I can Google that too.
we're learning all about animals today.
Sure are. Well, the name armadillo means little armored one. So, let's see. I imagine that they're just same stuff that like makes up nails.
Yeah.
They're called scutes. SCUTES.
Specifically for an armadillo, those scales are?
Yep. The armor is formed by plates of dermal bone covered with relatively small overlapping epidermal scales called scutes, composed of bone with a covering of horn. Most species have rigid cells over the shoulders and hips. And now we know. It's actually hardened hair. It says they're bone.
So it's
Plates.
like so it's hardened hair that kind of originates from bone plates. Is that? Am I understanding that correctly, or?
It says it's the armor is formed of plates of dermal bone. Dermal bone or membrane bone is a bony structure derived from intermembraneous ossification forming components of the vertebrate skeleton, including much of the skull and jaw and gill covers, shoulder girdle and fin spine rays, and the shell of tortoises and turtles. In contrast to endochondral bone, dermal bone does not form from cartilage that then calcifies and is often ornamented. Dermal bone is formed when the dermis and grows by accretion only. The outer portion of the bone is deposited by osteoblasts. We're getting all biological today, folks. So as it grows in size, it loses its fur in favor of plating, is what Doom asks, which seems to be the case, yes.
I kind of like that idea too, you know, having these kind of furry things that end up growing to have these armor plates. Like I'm thinking about doing almost like these bigger, it's going to be hard to make it look kind of bony, but you know, something like this.
Interesting fact about the armadillo, they also carry leprosy.
Oh yeah, I think I'd heard that.
I will be right back, however, I apologize. Sorry about that.
No problem. I was about to look up a picture of an armadillo here to have a little bit of reference.
Interesting, osteoblast equal bone cells. Yes. It is actually full-fledged bone. Learn something new every day.
I kind of like these almost like hexagonal scales on the head and the claws. I might give this some kind of claws on his front feet. So a little bit like an elephant, but a little bit like, you know, these. It kind of reminds me of sloth claws or something on this armadillo a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen these before. Those are cool. The more like furry mole-looking armadillos. I don't actually know. Pink fairy armadillo.
They are called the pink fairy armadillo. Yes. I think armadillos are cute.
Until they give you leprosy.
Until they give you leprosy, yes.
Okay, so that's cute.
They're one of the few animal species, other than humans, that can get it. The poor guys.
Yeah, the one I just had on the screen looks pretty, like, kind of like pitiful cute.
They're not very smart creatures.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few in Missouri. I mean, they're mostly, I guess there are way more in Arkansas, but they've been kind of increasingly, you increasingly see them in Missouri, like mostly by the roadside. But, you know, we had some in my yard growing up, and they would be like curled in a ball, like up against a tree root with my dog just like, you know, biting its back and clawing it and stuff. And just hanging out like, I hope you go away soon. You know, it didn't really like, didn't get any farther than just like curl and ball, okay, done. Like,
yeah,
this is the best I can do, guys.
Their shell's really hard, though.
Yeah.
On the wiki page, it even mentions that people have been injured by ricocheting bullets off their shell.
Interesting.
Which has got to be the most embarrassing phone call to the ER. Please come pick me up. Why, sir? I have received a gun injury. I have sustained a gun injury. In what manner? I shot at an armadillo because I was drinking 25 Pabst Blue Ribbon beers, and I was on my porch. I took a shot at it. Bullet shot back and hit me in the arm. We'll be right over, sir. Hypothetical conversation. You know what the larger Jebradon makes me think of? The Rondo from Star Wars.
What's that again? Is that the Empire Strikes Back?
No, that's the Phantom Menace, the big things like the Jawa we're riding on.
I don't remember now.
I'll post
I don't think I ever rewatched the Phantom Menace, and so I just like I don't remember at this point.
It's a super nerdy reference. I'll post a thing in the Skype chat and on the stream so people can know what I'm talking about. Ronto, not Rondo. Rontos.
Okay, I'm pulling it up now. Oh no, I pulled it up in Chrome. Why did you do that to me?
Because
Silly
Google
Skype.
owns
Well,
everything.
I mean, I have Safari open. I guess I was just expecting it to open in Safari. Oh well. So there we go. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess what I'm making is pretty similar. I wouldn't have remembered these things, I don't think.
I doubt many people would. I think it's the ears. I hear Kobe and Aaron back there doing their magic.
Yeah, I don't know what they're working on at the moment. What are you guys working on right now? You two? Yeah.
We're working on merging the stuff that Kobe's been working on with the stuff I've been working on.
Oh no. Not anything the stream wants to know about. It's something about merging code.
Yeah, that will probably put us all to sleep. Even though it's super interesting. They are code jockeys.
That's fine. You can use it. You can remind them just to use their change the cases. Yeah.
Is it all for room generation that they're doing?
Actually, I think this is sort of originating from the physics updates that Kobe is doing. And some other, well, he did some other stuff too, which I couldn't even begin to really explain to you. But it has to do with, well, I would have to have him explain it. It's like very important stuff that I know nothing about, basically, because it has to do with like bug checking and bug tracking and so on. Things that I'm happy to stay out of.
Right. Doom says, oh, the quote-unquote fun stuff.
Kobe, did you ever explain on the stream what all that, like, I can't even remember what you called it now, but the system that I think you guys are talking about at the moment?
The logging system?
Yeah. What does that do?
So, well, we're not talking specifically about logging right now. Karen now has the new logger stuff.
Mm-hmm.
New file system stuff, new profile. Aaron now has a lot of the new engine stuff.
So, logging stuff, profile stuff, file system stuff.
High performance stuff.
I don't know, guys.
Yeah. It's all like engine stuff that has always been sort of shoddy. It's now no longer shoddy.
Engine stuff used to be shoddy, now is awesome, if you can't hear what Kobe's saying.
So basically,
Yeah, we can hear him. I can hear him.
console window pop up, but the versions that get shipped to Humble don't have this huge performance hit. So now we actually have a logging system that logs files on a user save directory.
So it logs files to the user save directory.
Now, so if someone has a crash,
So if you have a crash, they can you can send us a log file and we can see why it crashed and fix stuff.
It has programmable levels of like how much information is spit out, and source files, and lines. It's basically a real logging system
Okay.
instead of a fake logging system. Are you sure you didn't get it?
So hopefully that was an adequate explanation. I was sort of translating the best I could.
Yeah, basically it took the old logging system and made it better
Yeah.
for easier bug detection.
Yeah. So basically anyone who is kind of in on the early access, alpha, beta, any of that stuff, and gets a crash and they're like, why is my screen black, or any number of things like that, we can have them send the file and sort it out.
Right. Sounds good to me. All seems to be coming together pretty well.
We try.
Doom seems pretty happy about it. I like the little like Billy Goat Gruff goatee that you gave the Jebradon.
Well, he has to have a beard, right?
Right, I think so. He looks very majestic and noble. And I look forward to stabbing him multiple times.
Well, or you could just leave the peaceful creature be.
Could do that. Absolutely, that is an option. But I mean, I'm a delver, so I mean, what's the likelihood that that's gonna happen? What's the likelihood of him stomping me? Pretty high. Doom says the Jebradon I don't want to fuck with. And that's probably fair. There needs to be a room where something agitates it.
Well, and that sort of thing is possible with the AI system, where like you know, enemies. We can set the enemies to all attack the Jebra and Jebradon and all of that. So and so that in theory they could go into an agitated mode where they then start attacking everything only after they've been provoked.
Right. I think there should be a room where there are gobbles trying to tame it. And then it goes wild if they've poked it too much. I don't know if the gobbles are actually that smart.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I kind of, for humor reasons, I would, I've thought they would be pretty dumb, but you know, I think they have some form of society. I mean, I would think their intelligence is sort of, you know, maybe a little bit below apes, but well, but then again, they're able to make tools, so.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, like, you know, maybe, you know, they're probably just more kind of, well, like they don't really have ethics or, you know, morals or whatever. They're just more kind of ruthless and savage. But in terms of like tool making, probably somewhere between apes and humans, or, you know, something like that. I don't know.
Right.
I'm trying to figure out how to do this armor for its feet, and I'm not really having much luck.
I like the claws that you gave it.
Yeah, I give it almost sort of like, well, almost kind of like a thumb, but you know how dogs have that fifth kind of toe that's way back.
You mean up on their leg?
Yeah.
Kinda?
Yeah.
There's a word for that.
Oh, don't look that up too.
I'm already doing it.
Learn about animals through video games.
Well, it's called a dew claw. I thought it was, but I just wanted to make sure before I opened my big fat stupid mouth. Or do you mean the pad that's further up?
Well, they have a claw at least on their front feet, but I assume probably their back feet too.
They have, yeah, well, they have 4 toes, and there's the one that's further up on I guess the leg. It's not really at the leg, it's more like up on the foot, which is the dew claw, and then they have a pad that's up further than that called the carpal pad. Learning biology, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're here to do today, apparently. We've learned ossicone, we've learned what the bone structure of the armadillo was, and now we're talking about dogs' dew claws. Always have dew claws on the inside of the front legs and occasionally also on the hind legs. Unlike front dew claws, rear dew claws tend to have little bone or muscle structure in most breeds. Any other animal we want to like base the Jebra on so we can do some more biology?
We'll save that for the rats or something.
Oh man, that'll be fun.
I don't know if I want to cover him entirely in these kind of scaly plates. It's looking kind of weird. I mean, it's kind of cool, but I don't know.
I like it. I like it a lot. Doom says, and yes, biology is great for enemy design because games where you just don't fight quote-unquote demons are just better. Which is true. Did you have a number of how many spiders you were going to put in the game?
I have very high numbers of things that I would like to put in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Probably like 5, but we probably, anything like that, we probably won't do that many. To
further frustrate us, because the spiders are awful.
Well, I want the spiders to be slightly less aggressive in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think basically because we didn't have much AI flexibility, we ended up just making them super aggressive because that was kind of the only type of behavior we could do.
Mm.
See, I think I want there to be like a not so much scales in some places as like a big armor section, like a larger plate. So maybe I'll make a duplicate here so I can do some tearing up.
You should have some like hairs sticking out of the armor pieces, like an armadillo kind of has.
Well,
some
I
of them.
would like to do that, but it gets really difficult.
Oh yeah, it's kind of nitty gritty.
draw.
It's true.
So I might make it as almost like a texture in some places.
Mm-hmm. So you want more like a rhinoceros plate on some of the parts of the Jebradon.
Yeah. Yeah, I should probably, I'll just pull up a rhinoceros here too. Yeah, I've never totally been, okay, here's something else for you to look up, I suppose, but I've never really been clear on, like, how armored they are. I mean, I guess they probably, because it kind of turns into skin. Like, it's hard to tell how much of it is, like, plating versus skin, but it does look like armored sections, kind of. But see, this one, it looks more just like flaps of skin.
Right. Well, let's take a look.
Their face is kind of cool looking. I guess I haven't looked at pictures of rhinoceros in a long time. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like really leathery skin that happens to, like on some of them, starts looking almost more like plates. And it has the, you know, it's really knobby.
They're an ungulate.
What's that?
They're an ungulate. So they're in the same kind of classification as horses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, it's so weird. This one looks like it's got plates. Which, I mean, makes me wonder if this is, like, I don't know.
Those are two different species of rhino.
Yeah, but, so, like, this one does have more, like,
Let's see if I can find
do
it.
your Wikipedia magic or whatever you're doing over there.
Trying. Why do rhinos have thick skin? Different breeds of rhinos have different types of skin, but one thing remains generally the same. It's nice and thick. While the thick folded skin can look like armor on some breeds, it is relatively sensitive on any rhino. Because of that sensitivity, rhinos have to be mindful of their skin and take care of it, or else it can be vulnerable, irritated, and damaged. So it is skin. Just, I guess, like, maybe it's like a callus or something like that.
Yeah, well, I assume it's, yeah, like it's a like really thick leather kind of skin, I would assume.
Some of them have horny plates. Not a whole lot of info on this one. They apparently have really poor eyesight.
Yeah, they look kind of squinty.
Yeah,
also,
I'm
they always have birds resting on them, so I'm imagining they aren't.
Well, they eat the bugs that swarm them. Doom says, isn't it just like a huge hardened skin flap? Which is basically what they're saying. The horns are made of keratin, which is what makes up hair and fingernails and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Which I did know. But
well, that's what like all horns are made of that, whereas antlers are actually bone, right? Is that the difference?
Well, no, because giraffes' horns are made of bone.
But that's the the big difference between horns and antlers is that, like, right, one is bone and one is essentially like hardened hair.
I don't know. I had not heard that.
An antelope, I believe, which has horns, is it's actually a different, and that's like a different material than like deer antlers.
Right. I mean, it sounds logical. Antlers are found on the heads of male members of the deer family. They're made of bone and sprout from the pedicel, a bony platform type of growth located just above the animal's skull.
Yeah. Yeah, so short version, antlers are bone, horns are hair.
Most of the time.
No, I think all the time. I mean, I think that's... Like, I think that's why we call them one or the other.
Osteocones are an in-between state, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Are horn-like / antler-like protuberances on the head of giraffes male okapis and their extinct relatives, which we don't need to name because they're all in Latin. Only giraffes and okapis have true ossicones, as they're called. Sorry, keep calling them osteocones, as opposed to horns or antlers. The base that a deer's antlers grow from is very similar to an ossicone. They are similar to the horns of an antelope and cattle, save that they are derived from ossified cartilage, and that the ossicones remain covered in skin and fur rather than horn. So yeah, they straddle in between, such as deer, and derive from bone tissue. When mature, the skin and fur covering of the antlers, termed velvet, is sloughed and scraped off to expose the bone of the antlers. Yes. More biology. For those of you who are interested in dungeon ecology, I will start doing a blog on the what's the term for that?
Ecosystem?
Yeah, thank you. There's a term for that style of journal, but I can't think of the name for it. I wanted to say gazetteer, but that's like maps and stuff. I have Google. I can look it up. It's telling me a biological journal, but I know that there's a term for that, like a shorthand term.
So I'm becoming pretty happy with this look.
Yeah, it looks good.
We've got some, and it's not too complicated in terms of like finishing. It's got some complicated bits here and there, but nothing too horrible.
The picture we all really want to see is Kobe's butcher.
My fiance Katie's butcher, I think, is even more glorious.
I will eventually upload those to the internet somehow. It will happen. I will find a way. I won't be very discreet, because you guys obviously will know that it's happening, but I'll manage it.
Okay.
Are they still all hanging up on the refrigerator?
Yeah, they're still there.
Then I can just snap a picture and be on my way. I'll drive to Springfield and do all Mission Impossible from the ceiling and snap the picture and then just wheel myself back up and drive back to Phoenix.
Mission Impossible is now a verb. We do have some giant air ducts you could probably crawl
I
through.
see that. Well, I would have to lose a lot of weight, but I think I could manage it. But yeah, I do see that you have massive air ducts. Isn't yours? It's an apartment that you guys are in, right?
Yeah, it's a second story, like 2-bedroom suite kind of thing.
Those are some heavy-duty pipes to have in an apartment.
Yeah, they're pretty crazy, kind of big and industrial.
How many floors does it have?
Just 3. It's an old building that they redid. Like, well, if you can see the walls in front of me, they're all like old brick, and they shed tiny rock and debris particles all over our office. So that's
that's great.
Yeah, not always the best in that respect, but we like it.
Yeah, you guys moved up a floor too, right?
We just moved down the hall like
okay.
Probably a year ago now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, we used to be in a little studio apartment, and now we moved to a 2-bedroom. So it's definitely more spacious. Like, we're all just kind of in the living area, and kitchen is back there. But yeah, it's nice.
And one day you'll have your own special building with like sound stages and
an arcade.
Yeah, sure. Why not? And you guys will actually be working out of Seattle because that's where all the cool indie companies go to.
That would be nice. I like Seattle.
I'd like to visit. I've never been. Would be fun. We'll fly Doom out to next PAX Prime. We'll all meet up at PAX Prime.
Sounds good to me.
I'm really pulling for PAX South this year. Trying to get a couple other people to go with me, but
oh, okay, yeah.
But if they don't go, then I'll just go myself. Do a bit more.
I was sad
Sorry.
to miss Prime this time around, but it was just too many things going on, too much to do, and last year was it was pretty draining. So at this point, we're like, let's go again when we're basically like close to release.
Well, I mean, you have the wedding and.
Well, yeah, like it is a busy year for me personally.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if you guys are close to being done by next, or hopefully, you guys will be done for your sake and sanity. But if not, hopefully soon around that time we can meet up again. We'll fly Doom out. Doom says he'll swim.
Just Doom, if you come, you actually have to talk. I assume you talk in person, but sometimes I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Since he's never come on a stream with us or anything.
We'll reach the shore one way or another. We'll get you here. We'll get you. I don't know. I know he's pretty tall, so we'll just get him like in a shipping crate, all scrunched up. By that time, I'll have my my sorcerer cosplay outfit finished.
And maybe he could be the elementalist.
Yeah, Doom. That is totally what needs to happen. And you said that Katie would do the rogue?
Yeah, she was all about it for a little while. And then I was finally like, hey, you need to start working on that costume if you're actually going to do that.
And she's like, ah.
Well, she was. I think then she got stressed out. Like she likes the idea of sewing until then. Like when she actually starts sewing, if she's got a deadline, it becomes a stressor. So it's got to be kind of like hey, let's work on this together for 6 months kind of project.
Doom apparently has no voice.
But
He's
speaker is part of his name. How does that work?
I don't know. Maybe he just carries a megaphone with him, so it's like a loudspeaker. He apparently is medium size. Everyone is tall to me. Can you put that number in like American speak, because I don't know you're goofy.
Is he 47 stones tall or something?
Yes, stone is weight, Baker.
I know. I'm just.
Okay, I know. I ruined your joke. I apologize. That was my bad. He's got the Arnold part of the Elemental Arnold, which is the idea. So we'll just hire out a bunch of other people to do the rest of the cosplay for the character classes. Sounds good to me. Maybe I could do the Harlequin so I don't have to show my ugly face to the crowd. Right, but can you put that measurement in like normal terms? And not your centimeters?
Are you converting it? Doing a metric conversion here?
I'm trying. He's 6 foot tall. 6'1".
Okay, so he's about Kobe sized.
Yeah, Kobe's pretty big. He's like a Viking. If he grew out a beard, he'd probably look a little bit more Vikingish.
For a second, I thought you were about to say if he grew up, he would be a Viking.
Yeah, I'm gonna insult Kobe.
Beard.
Yes, grow out a beard. If he had like a Nathan beard, he would totally look the part of a Viking. And Nathan just looks like a wizard. It's weird. Everybody in Pixelscopic except for poor Matthew has a beard.
That has some facial hair.
Is he growing it out? Last time I saw him, he was clean shaven.
It's occasional facial hair. Where did Matt go? Maybe he left. I thought he was here.
He just drifts in and out. I have a theory on indie game companies and beards.
What's that?
It just seems like all indie game companies, all the people that are in them have beards or mustaches or face.
I mean, it's probably we just don't have time to shave or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it something like that? Like all the Red Hook guys had beards. Ed McMillan has a pretty glorious beard most of the time, from what I've seen. Trying to think of other. I mean, I don't know about the guy who did Spelunky, but I know the guy who did Incredipede.
The guy who did Spelunky, I don't think has a beard. Derek Yu.
Yeah, Derek Yu. I forgot his name for a second, which I shouldn't have. Phil Fish had a beard. I know I mentioned he who must not be named, but
do we count his beard? It's too much. It's kind of like
hipstery.
Yeah, I mean I'm kind of hipstery, but
I mean I would, yeah. Derek Yu is as non-beard as you can get. I don't think I've ever seen what Derek Yu actually looks like. Oh yeah, okay, I googled him. He's pretty non-beard. Good game, Splunky. Wish I was better at it.
Yeah, I think I get bad at Spelunky when I just like start. I lose my patience really fast, I guess. Like
yeah.
I want to play it like Super Meat Boy, where you tend to be rewarded by going pretty fast most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I would consider myself to be pretty good at Super Meat Boy.
Why does the Jebra have red eyes? Is the question that was just asked.
'Cause why not?
Okay. That's not going to pass the Doom test, I can guarantee you that, but
I mean, it's supposed to be big and majestic, but also kind of scary because it's big and majestic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, though, on Spelunky. I kind of want it to be a little bit faster, and
I mean, you can play it fast, but then you inevitably make a mistake.
Yeah. Unless you're Bananasaurus Rex. who makes no mistakes. Doom says the eyes ruin it. I told you, wasn't gonna pass the Doom test.
You guys don't like the eyes? I can't believe it.
I don't have a problem with the eyes, but Doom thinks that it's too scary, or something. I don't know. He hasn't explained why it ruins it. He just says it ruins it.
What color do you guys think they should be then?
What color do I think it should be? Like, I mean, I guess black.
Like big puppy dog eyes or something?
Most animals have brown eyes. Brown, black eyes. Unless, I guess, dogs and cats kind of don't. Like, rhinos have beady black eyes. Armadillos have beady black eyes. Horses usually have brown eyes.
We'll give him sparklies in his eyes.
Doom says black eyes. Yeah, give him like a little anime twinkle.
I really like the colored eye. But,
Doom says like yellow, but that might blend in a little bit too much. He's saying, is it an herbivore? Is the Jebra an herbivore?
Yeah.
The red eye makes it look like a demon.
Well, I like the idea of it being this big, normally gentle thing that actually is really.
The blue
scary.
looks nice. I really like the blue. Well, could you? Or the yellow actually looks pretty good too. I was afraid it might kind of blend in with that green yellow that you've got going on there. I don't know what color you'd call that. But could you have its eyes go red when it starts attacking, like rampaging?
I mean, we can do stuff like that. I don't know if that's something I would want to do necessarily. I mean, I think that, well, stuff like that does make sense to the player, but I mean, nothing really changes its eye color in nature, or at least like.
Right.
I mean, there probably are some animals that can, but never say never.
More biology. I'm gonna Google that.
Oh, jeez.
I get 10 animals with incredible eyes. Doesn't look like it really. But I mean, it would be more for visual representation of the thing as rampaging.
And I'm thinking it's got this kind of like mossy stuff growing on it in some places.
Mm-hmm. Doom says it looks like it's a desert-dwelling creature.
Yeah, because of the colors.
Mm-hmm. I'd imagine so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I might cool it down a little bit, because I was thinking it would probably be a little more cold weather.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't really thought about it too much. I mean, in Delvers, it's kind of like, you know, they probably wouldn't naturally be living near the spire. It's just more like, you know, they're kind of work animals, so they would have been imported for labor kind of thing.
Right.
I'm thinking he's got a bunch of this moss kind of on his back, just like you know, he's almost got like some plants growing out on his back kind of thing.
You're going staticky there, Baker.
We have a microwave going in the office.
Right, your positronic microwave.
Yeah.
Mine does that too, though. I think it's just the nature of this headset.
Yeah, I mean, this wireless headset can be a little sensitive, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Mine is pretty sensitive. Good battery life, though.
Yeah, I got a second pair at one point, and it had really poor battery life, but Logitech was good to me and replaced it, so I was happy about that.
Yeah, mine I think has like 12 hours almost, which is pretty good.
I try to keep mine plugged in because it's annoying to me when it runs out of power.
Yeah, I've had it happen a couple times in recordings. So usually when I record, I plug it back in just to make sure that it doesn't happen.
You probably remember when I first got my newer. Well, I've got it here. I need to basically all of my stuff from my house went here when I moved, but I have a second version of the same headset, and when I had first gotten it for use in the office, because I had this one at home, it kept running out of battery life on the stream and couldn't charge fast enough to keep itself charged while I was live, and that was basically the last straw.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
And then you threw them out the window.
I threw them into the mail to send back to Logitech.
There you go. Yeah, I have a Logitech mouse. All my peripheries except for my keyboard's Logitech. I like their product usually.
Yeah. They make good stuff. I'm really tired today.
You need coffee.
Well, this is caffeinated, and I mean I would probably take some more coffee, but I already had a bit this morning.
With your impressive coffee machine, that's super special.
I mean it's not really even a machine. It's just a glass pot that you pour. I mean you just make pour overs in, but.
I like how the Jebras come out. Looks good.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's more or less what I had in mind.
You should do like the Ultra Jebradon and have it like have a small forest growing on its back. Like a koi pond. Really ramp up the Miyazaki.
Yeah, maybe someday. Sequel territory.
Delver's Drop 2. That'd be a cool boss fight.
What do you guys think about that color scheme, like the cooler colors?
I like it. It actually looks a little bit more foresty with a little bit of the I don't know what you'd call that, burnt sienna.
Yeah, I mean
maybe burgundy almost.
I don't really use color names so much anymore, I guess. But yeah, I basically put some purple into the so cooled off what actually was kind of a burnt sienna before.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna copy that and undo a few ticks here.
I think you should also turn down the salmon a little bit to kind of coincide with the.
See, I still kind of like that look. I mean, I understand that it's a little bit deserty, but
it's not so much deserty. It just does the pink. The pinkish tone.
Like the fur or this color, or I guess you
the
can see what I'm
like the
pointing
small plates on the legs and the neck.
Oh yeah, the in between.
Yeah.
It doesn't look very salmon on my screen, but I understand how it could look a little bit that way.
Doom says it looks like tree bark, which is good.
Well, this is a mixture of the two, which I kind of like.
It's just I guess the lighter brownish maybe is what it looks like more to you, is kind of it's a little bright with the new toned down color. I mean, it looks fine. It still doesn't look bad. It was just a suggestion. What do I know? I'm not an artist. I don't know anything about art.
Well, I think I merged those, the before and after, kind of blended them, merged them. I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, it looks good.
I think he needs some kind of color for his claws, or his toenails, or whatever.
Yeah. Doom says he wants to see the salamander next, but I don't know if salamanders are actually in the game.
There are a bunch of breeds of dragon, and that would be one kind of dragon.
My suggestion for the spiders, I forgot to finish this thought. You should model each after a different breed, or I guess genus of spider. So have one look more like a jumping, like the spider that you have in game now is I guess I would say like a standard one.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say I know there's one that you want to have that's like super jumpy. So I would say model it after an actual like jumping spider.
Mm-hmm. I
Because
have been
their
thinking
bodies.
we need to simplify their look a little bit, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not really sure.
Yeah, just the jumping spider morphology is so unique and different to a lot of other spider types. So it kind of more sits up like on its legs instead of being all splayed out. It's kind of bunched up, which makes sense because they obviously need a lot of, I guess, tension to propel themselves.
Yeah.
I actually think jumping spiders are really cute. I like bugs. And didn't you talk about what's one that like spits venom at the player or something like that?
I had a bunch of different ideas. I'm not sure which ones we're gonna end up finishing. I think what we need to do really before we finish too many more enemies is really put the AI system through its paces, but we need to finish a bit of programming on, well, basically, I guess we got to this point where we realized that some of the enemy code base didn't actually support the animation states we needed for all of the AI, and so now we've got to, and I guess we didn't realize that until we were basically done with the AI system, so now we need to go back and kind of support a couple of things that are half supported right now. I probably didn't explain that well at all, but
no, I understand what you mean. I got you. I like the multicolors colors that you're doing.
yeah, I'm rather happy with that. So now we just need to figure out how to do this little guy.
Poor baby Jebra. Sorry. Excuse me.
The big one we would probably only animate from the side view, so he won't be able to like really turn around or anything. But since he's going to be kind of big and slow moving and so on, I think that'd be okay.
Right. Doom earlier said he kind of wants it like a Jurassic Park moment where you like walk into a room and they're just kind of grazing and docile.
Yeah.
Like the Brachiosaurus.
I suddenly wondered about how big we ended up making his footprint. It's really hard to do the perspective on things like this, but yeah, he's taken up about a 2x3 area, more or less.
And ending credits confirmed. The Delver will be running with the Jebras over a vast, amazing plain, while inspirational music score by Hans Zimmer plays in the background.
Yeah.
And the sun rises slowly. Does that feel suitably Nintendo for everybody? I really like the oh wow, I'm blanking on words now. That's not a good sign. Saddle do you have on the baby Jebra?
Well, and I wanted it to be kind of like natural armor, which I think the armor on the big guy looks a lot better. And I did kind of add this sort of ridge of plating in here, so he kind of has a bit of that shape on his back. So I kind of like that, so I'm gonna make that a little more distinct.
Doom says that the Jebra is a playable confirmed character now. Taking the slot of the Bard is the Jebra. Many rejoiced, while others despaired.
Man, we're making each other yawn today.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I
I'm
just
wondering
could
if
not.
Saturdays are not a good day for live streams
I.
after all.
I mean, usually I'm not. I usually don't go to bed at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday or a Saturday morning, but
Somehow, in my mind, I believe you always go to bed at 7 o'clock in the morning.
it's probably. I mean, I do go to bed pretty late, and I do usually wake up pretty late, but usually I try to get to bed by 4, and then I usually wake up at noon. But for whatever reason, could not get to bed, which is bad because I'm supposed to be awake by 5:30 tomorrow, because I'm going out into the desert.
What are you doing there?
Just looking.
Just looking at the desert, looking for Jebra out there.
Yeah. Well, my sister's boyfriend wants to go like look at trails and stuff to take people from out of town to go and hike and stuff.
Yeah.
Either that or it's all one big plot to like shoot me in the back of the head and bury me where no one will find me. So if I don't show up for work on Saturday, you'll know, and please call the police.
Okay.
They won't find me, but they'll know I'm missing. And that's I guess the important part. It's pretty grim, but if I see them start loading in shovels. Doom is saying I went to bed at 5. I logged off the computer at 5, and then I stayed in bed. I laid in bed for 2.5 hours, not being able to get to sleep. I almost logged back in, but then I was like, no, I'm committed to getting to sleep, and that didn't happen. So, and stupid me, I actually have my alarm set to 8 o'clock in the morning. So I have 2 alarms on my clock. So I woke up at 8 o'clock and turned off the alarm, and then I had my other alarm set to 9:30, and I woke up at 9:30. So I probably didn't get nearly as much sleep even as I'm saying I got.
Yeah. That's how I tend to be a lot of times. This the frontal view of this Jebra is not working out very well. I might need to do something else for a bit. I feel like I'm getting too tired to make a horse-like creature in this perspective.
Do you want to do more of the elemental banners?
Yeah. I probably should, but I'm getting tired enough. I don't really feel like doing anything is sort of the problem.
Well, we started at 11. We've been going for about an hour and a half.
Yeah. Well, let's fill another half an hour, and then I'll.
Okay.
It would take me probably like 15 minutes to make coffee, so I won't bother.
That is an incredibly slow process to make coffee.
Well, you've got to like boil the water and then pour it and wait for it to drain through and pour some more. I like it because it's kind of meditative, but yeah. You're gonna make coffee? Do you want coffee? Sure. Okay.
Matthew will make you coffee?
It's Vlad is gonna make coffee.
Why don't you just use a regular coffee machine, Baker?
Well, we have one, but then it was full of mold, so I have not used it since.
What would you most like to do if you were motivated?
I mean, let's keep working on enemies. I can just pull up the enemies list and see what I haven't worked on in a while.
Okay. He says except making coffee. 1 second, sorry. What did Doom say? Coffee machine full of mold. Well, I mean, I understand where Baker's coming from. A lot of coffee machines, especially in the Midwest, where it's super freaking humid all the time.
Well, yeah. If you don't clean them out regularly, that's only what they have growing in them. Let's see.
Just think of it as a probiotic, Baker. Bad joke. I apologize.
Sorry, I'm reading this. Reading through our document of enemies and such here.
Can I suggest one?
You can suggest. We'll see if I decide to do it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna force you to do it. I say elemental wraiths.
And we went back and forth so many times. So are the wraiths the ones that
The wraiths are the
attached to an object, or
yeah,
are
those are the wraiths are the
okay.
ones that are attached to the object, like
Because wraith
candle, the
always
candle
makes
wraiths.
it always makes me think it's like incorporeal.
Yeah, I know. Maybe we should come up with a better name for the
I
objects.
mean, I like
'cause,
the name Candle Wraith. Like that's cool,
me too.
But it's more like a possessed candle.
Well, yeah, weren't all of the wraiths going to be possessed by elemental spirits though? That was the idea.
Well, yeah. It's just the name seems it's more like a possessed object than like a candle wraith. I would imagine it's like a wraith, like a ghost that's shaped like a candle or something, rather than a candle inhabited by a ghost. But I don't know. So I mean, we had a list of a bunch, but did we have that? Is that on the forums? I'm trying to remember if I ported the ideas.
There is a list
into
on
this.
there is a list on the forums.
Yeah. See, I
Maybe
don't think I ever ported that backwards into our enemies doc, because I've got some in here, but they just say like, oh, it's like a thing made of water, you know. And we had this list of like, it's a flower pot, it's a tea kettle, those sorts of things.
Yeah, I think. Try to think of where that went. Maybe that was in the elemental boogaloo thread.
You can probably just search for wraith, right?
Yeah, could probably do that. Nope, comes up with nothing. Maybe Doom knows the thread. Doom says shovel wraith or mirror wraith. He says he knows most of all of them. I remember the pot wraith. That was the water elemental one, or the surge, I guess.
I'm gonna search really quick. Are we having coffee problems? I forget what I just got some new coffee in the cabinet. It's a jar. Yeah. Is something burning on the stovetop? Or is that just the stovetop?
It was in fan
Okay.
submissions.
Yeah.
Here
Yeah,
you go,
I feel
Baker.
like about a 3/4 inch or something. I think we had a scoop, but I just eyeball it. I'm looking.
This is back when they was still Strike Force font.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff needs to be updated, but some of the names we've just kind of left because it's not worth changing the name just in our data documents. But at some point, I'll clean it all up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still looking, not really finding anything.
There was
actually, wait, I think I found something.
There's the
yeah.
gravel wraith for Foundation.
It's in crowdsourcing.
Yeah, I linked the
page. I guess the page 4.
I linked the page in Skype.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see it. So you
It's all
found it
good.
too. Okay.
No, Doom found it and linked it to me.
Okay. Okay. So if we did a,
You apparently did the
like a.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm thinking an urn sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. And you apparently already did a Bloom Wraith.
Yeah, I think I know which dock that's in.
Yeah.
So
And we talked about a like a Pipe Wraith for Muddle and a Shovel Wraith. I think call it Gravel Wraith for Foundation. My other suggestion was going to be Mimic.
A mimic. Oh, you mean a treasure chest mimic?
Yeah. Because I know they're going to be in the game.
Oh, that could just be wishful thinking.
Could it be?
I still don't really know what everyone's fascination with mimics is. Just like, I mean, even before Dark Souls, I know that they're like really creepy and cool in Dark Souls and have
They're pretty
like,
creepy.
have teeth made out of fingers or whatever. But isn't that it? Their teeth
No,
are made
they've
out
got
of
like
human fingers.
they got really weird limbs. Like they're really tall and spindly and weird looking.
Go look at the concept art. I'm pretty sure their teeth are something like they're actually human fingers. There's something weird like that about them. You have to really look close though.
I'm pretty sure they're just big teeth.
I'm gonna teach you guys something about Dark Souls today.
They look like teeth, Baker.
There's some, maybe it's a different enemy, but I was pretty sure that it might be one specific piece of concept art. And it might not be in the model, but
Yeah, no, in the game they're like really long, jagged, sharp, pointy, nasty teeth. It's just like the mimic, like when you hit it, it raises up. And it's just got this really spindly, nasty looking body.
See this, and this might not be official art, but see how they look like talons, like fingers. You'll see it on live stream in a second.
Oh, okay.
And this is the
apparently they are fingers. They do not look like fingers in the game.
They're like bony fingers. I mean, I think this is an actual model. So yeah, they're
intended to be bone fingers.
Yeah. See, I taught you guys something about Dark Souls.
Yep, I did not know that. They do not look like fingers in the game.
Yeah, I mean this. Yeah, I've got this shot from in-game, and they just look like weird kind of curling teeth.
Teeth, yeah. That's also not a mimic. That's the sign of avarice. I mean, it's a mimic head. But it's not an actual mimic. That player has got an item that's the mimic head. I think it's called the sign of avarice, or the mark of avarice, or something like that. Yeah, no, I didn't know that because they certainly
I
do
learned
not.
These things from Bonfireside chat.
Right, makes sense.
They bring up all kinds of weird, obscure things that only the most hardcore of the hardcore would care about or know or whatever.
Basically, or wherever you grab that list and cache it or store it and just save it immediately.
Right. Mark of avarice. Yeah, I knew it was one of those. An item that I never got, as far as I know.
As far as you know.
I don't remember the items. You get so many. I didn't get every item. I tried, but I didn't really bother to cut off everything's tail. It's just extra freaking work for nothing. Except bragging rights, I guess. It's like, I cut off every tail. I played a mage. I didn't need all the weapons. I just needed my awesome spells. So I could play easy mode, apparently. But I think the fascination with mimics, and Doom says it too. The cool thing about mimicry is that it makes the mundane act of sifting through chests a bit more exciting. And the eyes do look like they do look stocky. Yes, I agree. Which I think is the idea.
I'm trying to figure out how I would do a shovel.
Yeah, I have no idea. It was Doom's idea. Maybe he has something in his mind of how he wants it to look.
I'm thinking, like, I could do something like... And it just kind of, like, chips into the ground and kicks up. Kicks up rock fragments.
Mm-hmm. Foundationlings. I think we said Mirror Wraith for Splendor.
I'm trying to figure out how I would do eyeballs, because the idea was that it's like the element kind of creates the eyeballs. I mean, maybe it's got like these almost like eyes, kind of dirt clinging to the shovel down here or something like that. That are almost
like the dirt
eyes.
stains and chips in the metal make a face, is what Doom said. Kind of like what you're doing, yeah. Well, here's a question: can you make reflections?
Like technically speaking, can we?
Mm-hmm.
We haven't. We had some ideas as to how we would do it, but it gets difficult with the perspective. Is that a good enough answer?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely, of course. I imagined it would be difficult to code as well.
I mean, it's basically like, well, the easiest way you would do it is you take the player and we would have to flip vertically like this. I mean, it wouldn't be an accurate reflection, because normally if you reflect the character, what you're going to see is, this perspective, like you're gazing up into their mask like this.
Mm-hmm.
And the bottom would be like they're underneath the skirt or whatever down here would be smaller, and the legs would go up into. But we, basically we'd have to draw the character over again in that perspective to do it. But so we're obviously not going to go to that much effort. So what we would do is make the character just mirror the exact thing you're seeing. Flip it upside down, make it semi-transparent, and then probably sort of fade it out, or like
I actually didn't mean it like that. I meant like on walls and stuff.
Well, same thing, but
yeah.
So I mean, you could do something kind of like that, and it sort of looks like it's mirrored. I mean, we might squish it a little bit or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just curious, because I know we were mentioning the Mirror Wraith, so I thought hypothetically it would be kind of cool to see, like, if you could do it like character detection, so when you're fighting it actually looks like you.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I would imagine that would
I'm having trouble
really,
like, kind of imagining how that would work, I guess. So
yeah, it would be really difficult. Yeah, Doom was even on the same page. But if they could do mirrors, I mean, I doubt these being a thing. But yeah, I couldn't imagine how it would be done. But I'm not like a tech guru, so I was just wondering if it was hypothetically possible to do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably possible. I don't know if I want to, from just feasibility, but yeah.
Right. It's a lot. That's a lot of art asset for one enemy, really.
Yeah.
Well, for Delver's Drop 2, the redelvening. I like the Shovel Wraith. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, there's something. For Earth, I'd rather the eyes look a little more dumb, so I'm trying to kind of figure that out, like, or maybe just sad or something. I'd rather he look sad than mean.
Mm-hmm. I think you did the Jar Wraith or Urn Wraith or whatever you're gonna call that really well. I kind of like the mollusk feel that you've given it. It's kind of how I pictured it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Did we ever think of what the Merc Wraith would be? I don't know if we ever had that on the thread.
I don't know. It's hard for me to remember this stuff at this point. I remember us having the conversation, but I don't remember the details.
Doom said like a tainted object or something like that. Yeah, doesn't really look like we ever had an idea.
I think it looks like Doom's ideas from before. It said an engulfed weapon, a scepter, or a book. I kind of like the idea of there being a book or something a little more, like something even more kind of surreal, or like not as much like it's a household object enchanted, like, you know, from Beauty and the Beast or something. But something a little more spooky and sinister.
Yeah.
Or we could do almost like a hypodermic needle. Like that could be kind of scary.
That would be pretty scary. Well, what about an arcane wraith? It should be like a clock, right?
I think that would make sense.
Like a what do they call those big clocks? Those standing clocks.
Like a grandfather clock.
Yeah, that's exactly what. Yeah, yep. Exactly. And we said first force, which I guess is flux now, a fan.
And I was wondering, what kind of fan are we talking about? Like a...
I was thinking like a Japanese or Chinese style
like
fan.
A mechanical, or like a, yeah, you fan yourself, not an electric fan.
Yeah, like a courtesan's fan. Yeah. Grandfather clock, yeah. Doom's got it right. Or a cuckoo clock, that could be fun too, like a floating cuckoo clock for arcane.
Yeah.
Which one are you doing now?
This is the Merc syringe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and Doom is saying, yeah, like a Japanese style fan. Would be cool. Let me think of all the... One second. There you go. I'm trying to think of other... What would Howl be?
I mean, maybe just like a fur rug or something, but then I guess it might just look like a possessed beast.
I have a silly idea.
Okay.
You know those toys, the invisible dog toys? It's just a leash.
Okay.
You're laughing, so that was the desire.
I'm not sure how I would draw that in a way that would make sense, but
I don't know either.
Ready? Oh, okay.
I don't know either, but you could like have it like a
the white one that's probably over there somewhere. The tall Starbucks white one. Just however much, I don't really mind. Even just like a half cup or something.
What like you could do with like the leash is like have it like a bark effect coming out from where the mouth would be. And that shoots out the howlings, the little tiny howl elementals. I like the syringe, and Doom's got it right. People don't like needles. I don't like needles, so I'm not spooked out by enemy needles, but I think a lot of people are. It's a very large needle, Baker.
Mm-hmm. It's what they give the Jebradon at shots.
I was gonna say, is that for the Jebradon? Oh, that'd be terrifying. A merc-infused Jebradon. Doom says for how like bones and antlers moving around, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Grim should just be chains.
Yeah, probably.
For spoiler, I think we said like a cauldron or something like that, but I'm not sure if that fits now.
I think it'd be fine. I mean, it's kind of similar to the water, to the
Mhm.
surge, but
Yeah, that was the worry.
I could do something with, where it's like thanks. You made it really strong. I'm usually okay with pretty strong, so that's good. No, it's good. This is about how I make it.
Doom says a floating ball and chain for Grim. What should Hush be? Like a parka?
Did we not have? I thought we already had something probably for.
I don't think we
Ice.
did. What Subdue haunted ice cubes is one of the ideas. That was what Doom suggested. Let's see if I had a suggestion. So I know I threw up a bunch of ideas as well. Back when it was called Subdue. Yeah, I left that blank.
There was something about down below here, a mannequin or a coat hanger with a coat on it, making like a scarecrow type thing, icy
Yeah.
scarecrow.
Could do like a parka.
Did we decide there's something here about metal being a broom, but what was the other idea?
A tobacco pipe, which you
Oh.
said you liked the
Which-
idea of.
But I wonder now if that should be echo.
A pipe for Echo?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess that does make sense for metal because it's actually smoke, but the sorcerer's pipes would be like like they're channeling echo through them somehow,
Right.
or maybe they're channeling echo through the smoke, like using the smoke as kind of a material
medium.
to construct a spirit
Yeah.
or something out of.
Yeah, you said Muddle maybe a broom that sweeps dust statue. And then Doom said Muddle should be a pipe. For Echo, I think it should. I mean, the name makes me think of like sound, so I'm thinking like a loud like a megaphone.
Like what like a phone, like a haunted phonograph kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Doom says Echo should be like two different objects jammed together. But I like the phonograph idea as well.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess I could do like almost like a music box kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's got the rotating thing with the pegs.
Right. No idea what that's called. And we had like a Tesla coil for the lightning wraith. Doom says he likes the phonograph. Oh yeah, that cylinder. I can't remember the name of them, but
Yeah.
I mean they're just called music boxes, but there's a name for that.
Yeah. The cylinder itself.
Yeah. They're called carillons in musique. That's the name of the original. Like that's what they called the music box.
Hmm.
Or I guess that might be carry on a musique. I guess they are just called cylinders. That's what everyone. That's what I can see is what they're called. Do you ever watch Antique Roadshow.
The what? Oh, Antique Roadshow.
Antique Roadshow.
I thought you said anti-grudge show. Is what I heard somehow.
I'm sure that exists somewhere. But yeah, no.
I think I've seen a little bit.
There's an episode where this really old man has like super antique music cylinder, and he's obviously really nervous being on camera, and he's shaking, and he drops it. Like the host drops it, and it shatters everywhere.
So not the guy who owned it, but the...
Yeah, not the guy who owned it, the guy who was like showing it off. Let's see if I can get a link to that. It's probably the saddest thing I've ever seen. Just the look on the guy's face, seeing what I could possibly be in the triple digit money cost, just shattering. Yeah, Priceless Relic. It wasn't Antique Roadshow. It was another show like that. There you go, and I'll cross post this. There's a bit of language in there for you kiddies, which I think is fair. It's not very long. Or no, it is the guy who drops it.
The guy who owns it?
Yeah. Like, they do a close-up on his hands. He shatters it in his hands. He's holding it so tightly, it just explodes in his hands.
Oh, jeez. That's even worse.
Yeah, when they do a pan-up on the item with it in his hand, and he's physically shaking. He's so nervous being on camera. It's really sad. But at the same time, I guess we all kind of enjoy that sort of thing, watching people fall instantly into despair.
It's like the Lord of the Flies in all of us.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's James says, "Wow, that is nasty." Yeah, the guy just goes like, "Oh shit," and just stands there, and the host is like, "Okay, moving right along." Yeah, it's that inner nasty 5-year-old.
The sociopath in all
yeah,
this.
the mentality of it's not good enough for me to succeed. It's good. It's only good when you fail, kind of mentality.
I'm really not sure why we have these objects so big in the Delver's world. I'm probably going to make some of them smaller, but we really need to zoom in when you enter combat. Like when you start attacking something, do a bit of a zoom in so that you can see the details of these enemies more.
That'd be cool. Who doesn't want a pipe nearly as large as themselves?
Right. And the sorcerer wants one, obviously.
Yeah. And you're not smoking just a tiny little bowl. You're smoking an entire pot. Share it with everybody, or have a really long day ahead of you. I've seen smoking implements that large.
I made a really creepy little like alien mouth, like a xenomorph mouth coming out of the coming out of the echo thing there. I kind of like that.
I like that too. Doom says that zooming in combat's a bad idea, and he's still typing.
Zoom a little bit though. I'd like to at least try it out.
He points that he actually does point out something that I can agree with. Getting gunned down by things outside of visual range is annoying.
Yeah. I mean, my hope would be that we could accommodate that by like zooming back out if you've got projectiles on the screen or something like that, but I don't know.
Yeah, that Echo looks pretty creepy with like the xenomorph mouth. A little bit of different tone. Did you see the Hateful Eight trailer?
Yeah, I watched it. I couldn't figure out what the plot actually was.
Yeah, Doom and I were talking about Tarantino this morning, and I went and rewatched it. I actually got to see that in theaters when I went and saw Ant-Man, I think is what it was in the trailers for. It's like a bunch of bounty hunters and lawmen get stuck in a hat selling building during a really bad snowstorm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't quite catch what. That's sort of, I assumed it was something like that, but I didn't understand how you could make much of a whole story out of that, I guess. But it looks like more happens in the surrounding area of the town, countryside, or whatever.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm super excited.
Yeah,
I think
I watch all of his movies.
Was it you who I was talking to who said that you thought Django Unchained could be shorter?
I wasn't the biggest fan of Django Unchained. I can't remember if I said that specifically.
Because I know it's something that a couple of people and I have talked about before. Like the last 30 minutes could have been cut out. So it's just kind of like needless violence.
Yeah, I mean, I think it actually could have been a really interesting movie if it were done by someone other than Tarantino. It's kind of like, well, see, I think his like the tension of the like serious kind of human drama and the action worked way better in Kill Bill. And in Django Unchained, it's like the emotional stuff tended to fall flat a little bit, like when when Django is telling his story and stuff, and like when he sees his wife or I don't remember if they were married or
yeah, they were
married.
married.
But yeah, it's like it just didn't have any emotional impact for me because I think at that point I just didn't take the characters seriously enough. But then when they do the final or next to final scene with like Leonardo DiCaprio's character in that, and the way he acts and does everything is really awesome. Like that whole scene is done really well, and that's what Tarantino's good at, is those kind of like, you're confronted with someone who's probably going to kill you and they're just like screaming at you basically. Like that's sort of a Tarantino hallmark, I guess. But then yeah, everything else was just kind of like, how they're the Django and the other dude are just kind of traipsing through the countryside bounty hunting. Like some of that was kind of So I don't know. It's just like it went back and forth between like parts that I found kind of like boring and didn't have any investment in to like pretty cool or interesting or well acted parts. And that's, I mean, the structure of his movies is, I think, intentionally sort of awkward. Like he wants it to have that bit of a B movie feel where it goes like it just totally changes. When it changes gears, it completely changes gears, or it goes into a different genre even.
Right. Well, I mean, and that's one of the things that we were talking about last night was just how he blends genres, and really kind of I think the term I used was he devours pop culture.
Yeah.
I kind of laid it out last night. Like, Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs are kind of this hallmark back to mafia films.
Yeah. Well, and Kill Bill 1 is a kung fu movie. Kill Bill 2 is a western.
Kung Fu, yeah. I mean, Kung Fu is also in Kill Bill 2 a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's a blend in both, but if you really think about like how all the showdowns happen, like the showdowns in the first one are all like kung fu martial arts. Lots of people facing off against her in that. The Crazy 88 or whatever they're called.
Yeah, the Crazy
and then
88.
In Kill Bill 2, like, I mean, she gets buried alive. There are several kind of one-on-one confrontations in close spaces, and it's more of like a quick draw sort of thing. And then she goes and talks to the old like the old guy who was like, I forget if it's whose father he is or whatever, but.
Well, Pai Mei, he's just a random Sifu.
No, I was thinking in the in the
Oh,
second one,
right,
he's
Esteban.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, he was one of the men that raised Bill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely more Western in Kill Bill 2 than there is Kung Fu in Kill Bill 2.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. But I mean, Kill Bill 1 was always supposed to be based off of the spaghetti Western serials as well.
Yeah,
that
was
was
the
the
church
intent.
scene and everything, where she, where it shows her getting gunned down.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely very Western.
Yeah. But it is now, I guess, for you 3, if you wanted to.
Well, I had this good idea. We were talking about Kill Bill, so I didn't tell you, but I'm working on a like a burnt out umbrella. I need to make it look a little more umbrella-y with some fabric or something here, but that was my idea for Sunder.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like that.
It's like it's got like electrical stuff, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Some sparks going around, but it's yeah.
I don't know if you've seen Jackie Brown, but it really kind of is like a film noir, given a modern interpretation. I
have not seen that one.
It's not. I would say it's the weakest of the Tarantino films.
Isn't it his first one?
No. Pulp Fiction or Reservoir Dogs, I think, was his first one. I think Jackie Brown is his third one. Let me take a look at his disc. He's only done 8 movies.
Well, of course, like he's got to say like the 5th movie by Tarantino, the 6th.
Yeah.
Right?
Because Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 are one movie, even though they're in 2 parts. Is Baker umbrellaing? Yes, he is. Yeah, Reservoir Dogs was 92, Pulp Fiction was 94, Jackie Brown was 97, and then Kill Bill was 2003. Kill Bill 2 was 2004. Death Proof, which I guess counts as one of his movies.
Does it?
I guess.
I thought he was just a producer on that.
The movie was Grindhouse, but he did Death Proof, which is part of Grindhouse.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird because it has 9 movies listed, so I don't know what he counts as his 8 movies. So either Kill Bill 1 and 2 are his movies, or Death Proof is a movie that he's considering in his 8. So I have no idea how he figures The Hateful Eight as his 8th movie, but it's supposed to be his 8th movie.
Retconned his prior catalog just so he could use the name Hateful Eight.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, he's written and co-directed and done a ton of other stuff. I mean, Tarantino was huge in localizing a lot of old kung fu movies.
Yeah.
So, Iron Monkey was all him. I think he had a hand in localizing Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon as well.
I didn't actually know that, but I at least used to like that movie a lot. I don't know if it would hold up if I went and watched it now.
I don't think I could watch Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon again. I've seen it a couple times over the years, and I think each time I see it, I see more and more of Ang Lee's, I guess, I don't want to say flaws as a director, but things that I don't really like in his directing style. He's very slow and focuses a lot on feelings, and that's fine, but in a kung fu film, I don't really care about that sort of thing. I want to see 25 guys get beaten down by a bamboo pole while a guy's eating a meat bun. Very specific, I suppose, but yeah, I mean, I like the old Hong Kong style kung fu film, where they're obviously a little less serious, It's like the combat is still high action and really dynamic, but there's there's a bit of cleverness to it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think especially modern kung fu films, kind of have this grit to them, where they've lost a little bit of the, like, Kung Fu Hustle is a really good example of what I think like a good kung fu film should be.
Yeah.
Like, even in the final confrontation, you never feel like the stakes is life and death. Like, obviously the stake is life and death because it's the big epic fight against the main villain, but that air isn't in the scene. It's like at any moment that, like, one small move for the hero is just death. It's not tense. Especially with a lot of the stuff coming out of Korea, they do a lot of kung fu crime serial stuff. It's all very, very grim, and there's room for that style too. But I think I prefer a little bit more jovial nature. Also, you should have the Jebradon as the picture
That makes sense
for
to me.
the thumbnail. I like the fan. I saw one South Korean film where I'm trying to remember the name. It's on Netflix, but it's about like a North Korean assassin who goes around killing a bunch of, like, North Korean spies that are living in South Korea.
Hmm.
It was actually pretty good. I can't remember the name. I'd have to look on Netflix. They have a lot of really good kung fu films on Netflix. Which was surprising.
Yeah, but I'm sure it's pretty cheap to get the rights.
Yeah.
So, and it's the kind of thing that people would just like, if they're into that kind of thing, it's like, I'm bored, I'll watch a horrible, like, probably they paid 5 cents for the rights to put it on Netflix, kung fu.
Mm-hmm. There are two on there. They're called the Detective D is the name of both movies, but they have subtitles. Those were really good. They're like Sherlock Holmes meets Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. A little bit more fantastical. I'm trying, like, it's like the Legend of Sinbad, I guess, but for China. Like, the detective, it starts off like, there's this problem going on, and it's like, oh, of course, this is totally a natural cause, and then it's like, oh, but actually this guy is imbued by the spirit of the sea dragon, and it's like, oh, okay. Like in it's called Detective D in the Case of the Phantom Flame. It's like, oh, these people are like internally combusting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like out of nowhere. It's like, yeah, they're like, oh, if you remove that seal, you'll get cursed, and everyone's like, no, I won't get cursed at all. Then the guy removes the seal, and like 2 minutes later, he just like explodes into fire, and everyone's like, it's magic. And then later on, it's like, oh no, it's actually like this venom that does it.
Mm-hmm. It's
like, oh, okay. So I don't know. I found him pretty amusing. I think I think the second one is actually like the Dragonstone or something like that. I thought the Phantom Flame was the better of the two. It's a little bit more slick and actiony. The other one is a little less. It's a little bit more like soap opera-y. And if you don't like American soap operas, you're not gonna like soap operas.
Yeah, I could see that.
Let me tell.
I'm trying to remember. I think I saw it's like Ong Bak, which is it's not Korean.
It's Malaysian.
Yeah, I watched, I think, the first one of those, and it was pretty bad. But it's like I guess it has like one of those, like multi-minute long, like single cut fight scenes, which is kind of, that's always sort of impressive.
Yeah, there's I think 3 or 4 Ongbaks.
Yeah, but I just saw the first one. I was like, nope, no more. Like it actually wasn't bad until he's like, unless I'm thinking of a different movie, but until he put the he like straps elephant bones onto his arms.
You're
to use as
thinking
weapons.
of you're thinking of the Protector.
No, I mean maybe I might not be thinking of Ombak, but I don't think it was called the Protector. It was something that was not in English, but
Yeah, it's with Tony Jaa.
yeah, is that the Protector?
Yeah, that's the Protector. Yeah, I
Oh,
saw that.
okay.
I saw that in theaters. Yeah, he straps elephant bone to his arms. That's what you're thinking of, right? He's searching for his elephant.
Yeah, something horrible like that.
Yeah, that's the Protector.
Okay. I guess I am just completely conflating things. But
It was a pretty silly movie. But yeah, it's like he fights up a spiral set of staircases, and it's a single
Yeah.
shot. Yeah, yeah. Cool fight scenes in that film. Yeah, that's not Malaysian. That's I believe Thai.
that sounds right.
Does he's a yeah Thailand. He does. Oh, I'm trying to think of the name of that martial art. Muay Thai, of course. Why wouldn't it be Thai? Yeah, he's a Muay Thai fighter. And he owned an elephant, and it gets captured for an illegal ivory business. And I remember like the only line that Tony Jaa says is "Give me back my elephant," like repeatedly. Yeah, I remember that film. Yeah, I went and saw that with my ex-fiance way back when. That's a long time ago. It's Tom Yum Goong is the name of the film in Thai. The Warrior King, Thai Dragon, Revenge of the Warrior in Germany, Honor of Dragon. Yeah, the names are a little. Yeah, Tony Jaa was an Ong Bak though, so then maybe that's
okay.
why you were thinking.
Okay.
And it's directed by the same guy as Ong Bak as well.
Okay, no wonder I thought it was the same movie. That
Yeah.
makes a lot more sense now. But I see these things. I see things on Netflix over and over, just like come up in the feed or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
at some point they all blend together.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen The Protector a couple times. Just, I like bad. I like bad cinema. Like I went and watched No Escape, that film with Owen Wilson that just came out a little while ago. Like they're trapped in no name.
Weren't you telling me about it last week?
I might have mentioned it last week because I think I did go see it last week. I think I went and saw it Friday night or Thursday night. It was pretty bad. Like I went in and I was the only one in the theater, and the lady who took my ticket was like, "Why are you coming and seeing this at
Right.
like 10 o'clock at night?" I was
And
like,
then
"Well, I've got
you
nothing."
gave her some Skittles or something.
Yeah, I gave her Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'm here to see a bad movie, and I'm gonna get what I paid for. It's just like, why would you want to do that? It's like, gotta test your limits sometimes, you know.
By the way, I'm going to send you a replacement because I like putting the shrubbery in the background, so I'm going to give you a replacement for the squares stream cover. So just when you post it, if you wouldn't mind, just use the one that has all the leaves.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Dang it! I just sent you the one for YouTube a second time. Okay,
That's cool.
Here's
I
the
won't,
right one.
I won't download that one.
So just the last two or whichever.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think we can wrap up shop for the day.
Sure. Thanks for coming, guys. We'll be back next week. Yeah, I'll just it said, do you want to copy it, and I'll just It should have replaced it. Let me just double check. No, it did not. Okay, well, I'll just delete that, and just so I don't make any mistakes. There you go. So yeah, thanks for coming, guys. We will be back next week at the same time. I will light some coffee out to Baker before we start the stream next time, and I will inject myself with smack or something like that.
If I drink too much coffee before the stream, then I crash halfway through. That's the problem. So also we like ran to lunch, and I was like desperately eating lunch like right before we started. So and then
Yeah.
Otherwise, I probably would have just made coffee to have some. But
I'll do my best not to be a lunatic and go to bed at 7 o'clock at night or in the morning.
Oh.
I'm not as dead on my feet as I was last. We're both not as dead on our feet as we were at the beginning of the last stream.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I tried to catch up on sleep this week.
Improvement. every time improvement. But yeah, thanks guys.
Yeah.
I don't know when.
And thank you, Kyle.
Oh, of course.
Do you want to pimp your streams really quick?
Oh, sure. For those of you who have made it this far into the ramblings, I'm Vase. I do Delvers Drop content and all sorts of stuff on my YouTube channel, which is at 830awesome, and I stream Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and I've started streaming on like off days too later at night at Vase, Vasae. So come and check me out. It's a fun time for at least somebody. I don't know who, but people seem to enjoy it. So
hopefully at least you.
No. people were like, sorry I didn't make your stream last night. I was like, it's okay. It's like, I don't expect people to come to my stream. I don't even want to be at all my streams, so why should I expect anyone else to want to be at them? Self-deprecating humor.
You gotta live it up.
Yep, got to. All right, thanks guys. Yeah. We'll see you next time.
All right, yeah, see you all next week. Actually, next week isn't daylight savings, but the week after that might be. So we'll remind everyone next week. All right.
You'll have to also remind me.
Probably. Okay.
Because I don't do that.
Your state doesn't, in fact.